You're not a failure, man. Like, you know what I mean? You need to stop being so hard on yourself. You are not a failure. You haven't failed yet. Don't give up, bro. Do not give up prematurely on yourself or on your goals, bro. Because that'll be one of the biggest regrets that you've ever had along your lifetime. When you're on your deathbed, when you're laying down and it's all over, right? You're in that hospital bed, you're laying down, you're just staring up at the ceiling, reflecting on your life. That'll be one of the biggest regrets that you've ever had. Thinking about everything that you could have been, everything that you could have done, had you just stuck with it. You know what I mean? Had you just trusted the process, had you just not given up on yourself and trusted that, you were going to get there, that you could, that you can, and that you will get there. You know what I mean? Because one thing I need you guys to understand is because you fail once doesn't mean that you're a failure overall. You know what I mean? Like this life shit, it comes with tribulations, it comes with trials. It comes with trying over and over and over again. It comes with picking yourself back up after you fall and knowing that, it's okay to fall. But once you do get back up, you're going to go 10 times harder. Like, you know what I mean? That's what this whole life thing is about. That's what trying is really about. Because if you ask me, I don't give a damn that you failed. If you ask me, you didn't even try for real unless you failed a couple times, and every single time that you failed, you picked yourself back up and you got right back to it. You know what I mean? That is the real benchmark of a failure and someone who isn't a failure. I view someone as either someone who, they fail, shit gets hard for them one time and they just give up after that, right? Or B, somebody that just absolutely never tried to begin with. You know what I mean? Somebody that just conformed to society's beliefs and expectations and knew that they had a dream in the back of their head that they wanted to chase and they didn't go chase it at all. That, my friend, would be considered a failure if you ask me personally. Like, you know what I mean? So I just need you guys to understand that failure is a part of trying, right? If you haven't failed, that means you haven't tried. And I don't want anybody watching me on this channel that is scared to try. I don't want anybody on this channel that doesn't believe in themselves. You know what I mean? Or just doesn't have full blown belief that they can get there. I made a TikTok about this the other day. You know what I mean? It's in my drafts, but it's getting ready to be posted. You know what I mean? It'll be posted in a day or two. I'm not sure if, by the time you see this video, whoever you are on the other side of this camera, if it'll be up. But I basically was saying, like, I don't want anybody around me who doesn't believe in themselves. Like, I don't want anyone around me who's scared to try. And I don't want anybody around me who fails one time and doesn't get back up. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't form my circle around here, right? Because energy transfers. And if I'm around a bunch of people who don't believe in themselves, if I'm around a bunch of people who give up when the going gets hard, when the going gets rough, if I'm around a bunch of people who fail once and then just never pick themselves back up and keep going at it, grit, for a lack of better words, you know what I mean? If I'm around a bunch of people who don't have grit, who can't just persevere through the hard times, then I don't want you around me. You know what I mean? Like, every single person around me believes in themselves to a unbelievable magnitude. Everyone around me, they're delusional to the point that it's kind of, you know what I'm saying, crazy. But we all believe and know in our hearts that we are going to get to where we're saying we're going to get to. We don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know, how many people we're going to lose along the way. We don't know how hard the journey itself is going to be. But we know that true and deep in our hearts, we know we're going to get there eventually. And that's just what I believe everybody should feel about themselves. And that's how I feel like everyone should approach life. So I just want to say, you know what I mean? if you're watching this and you're down on yourself, you're sad because the thing that you've been doing hasn't been working out for you perfectly yet. I just want to say, bro, it's not supposed to. You know what? Excuse me. It's not supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, nothing ever rarely goes perfectly on the first try. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, it's unlikely to happen, man. So I want to be the person to give you permission to fail. You know what I mean? If you are watching this video, if you are a supporter of mine, I, Isaac, am giving you permission to fail. I'm giving you permission to go out there and try your hand at so many different things until, you know what I mean, you find the one, until something hits, until something works. You know what I mean? I am giving you permission to go out and take as many swings at the bat as possible until you hit a grand slam, until you hit a home run, bro, until you knock it out of the park, right, with something, whatever that may be, right? And if you're asking me, I would honestly prefer it to be the very first thing that you set your heart on, the very first thing that you knew all along was your dream to be, get done, and do, right? Like for me, it's this content thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been doing it for years and years and years, and this it's not my first channel. I have other channels that I've grown, you know, bigger than this. I have 3, 4 channels at this point, you know what I mean? But content has always been something that I've wanted to do, and I know true and near and dear to my heart that I'm going to get there. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to be this channel. I don't know if it's going to be one of my other 2 channels. But I know for a fact I'm going to get there, and I'm not going to give up until I do. I know that, for lack of better terms, I'm going to get rich or die trying. You know what I mean? I have a video about that, by the way. Shout out to 50 Cent. But that's kind of like my mantra when it comes to chasing success and, you know, the things that I'm trying to achieve in life. Like, I'm not afraid of failure, bro. I'm going to get rich or die trying. You know what I mean? Trying is the key word in that phrase if you're listening. You know what I mean? Like, trying is the phrase that I want to highlight, because if you're trying, then you're going to fail. Like I said, right? So, yeah, you guys, just stop being so damn hard on yourself, bro, because you have to look at it and think about the fact that out of 100 people, bro, probably 10 of them have the guts to actually pursue their dreams, right? And out of those 10, right, 5 of them will actually put real effort towards getting it, right? And then out of those 5, 2 or 3 will probably stick with it long enough to actually become successful, right? And you know what I mean? 2 or 3 might even be generous, right? It might be 1 out of those 5 people that stick with it long enough to actually see some sort of success from what they're doing, right? Like, that's just how the numbers are. They're skewed, right? This is a game we're playing at the end of the day. It's a numbers game. It's an odds game. You have to be able to stick it out during the hard times so that you can be there when luck arrives, so that you can be there and have the chance to become, you know, successful when the opportunity presents itself. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have heard the term the 1%, right? I just gave you that example. Clearly, there's 100 people. Maybe 10 of them actually have the guts to pursue their dreams. Out of those 10, 5 of them will really actually put the work and effort behind it heavily. And then out of those 5, only 1 of them will probably stick with it for the long term. You know what I mean? So if you guys really, really break that down, it's very possible. It's very doable, right? You just have to make the commitment to yourself that you aren't afraid to fail, you aren't afraid to try, and that you will stick with it through the hard times, that you will do whatever it takes for however long that it takes. You know what I mean? Until you get to where you know that you're going to get to, bro. And yeah, that's really all I'm trying to push to you guys. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever it takes for however long that it takes, you guys. Do not be afraid of failure. Failure is your friend, rush towards failure. You know what I mean? Because if you're rushing toward failure, that means you're trying. You know what I mean? And I'm actually a big believer in that's just how the universe is. You're going to fail a certain amount of times before you get it right, right? So you need to play the law of averages to your effect, to your advantage, right? You need to try so many times that you make it unreasonable for you to fail, right? And when you live life like that, you greatly increase the chances of you succeeding. When you're not afraid to fail, you greatly increase the chances of you succeeding, right? Because the way to win the game is to keep playing, right? So you need to be the person that just makes it up in your mind that you're absolutely going to keep playing, regardless of what it looks like right now. You know you're going to get there. You're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to try. So, yeah, you guys, you're not a failure unless you quit. That's all I wanted to get on this camera and get across to you guys tonight. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video, man. Hopefully this message spoke to somebody. And, yeah, man, we're being consistent. So, like, comment, subscribe. Join me on this journey. We're posting every single day. And, yeah, love y'all, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.